My name is Skylar. I'm 23. I've actually done 3 different programs at Carleton University, and I haven't finished any one of the degrees yet. But I'm just working right now, which is, I think, a good little hustle to get me back towards my school stuff. I play a lot of sports. I've played football, I ran track and field, I played rugby, done a bunch of different things provincially. I won championships, which is cool too. But I also tore my ACL a couple months ago. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that anymore here. But also I'm here to talk about my experience and my skin color today. And obviously I think that before that, it's important just to check my privilege, because as a man, I know that my experience is different than the experience of women of color have. And also on top of that, I think that me being biracial, that also gives me a different experience than a lot of people. And the third thing I think that kind of makes my experience different than others is just my socioeconomic status. Because I know that me and my family were kind of like upper middle class, which also affects how I think I'm perceived and how I take in the world. I have had experiences, a lot of experiences dealing with racism nonetheless. A lot in sports, but I don't think I'm gonna talk about sports today. The first thing that came to mind when someone mentioned racism was once in high school, I went to Colonel By secondary school in the East End, and I was walking up Montreal Road towards a highway overpass. And as I was there, I was just listening to my music, and I remember a cop drove by. There were 2 cops in the car, and a bit of an awkward experience, but like we made eye contact, and both of them were just staring at me as they drove by. And I remember I almost stopped just to be like, what the heck was that? So I literally looked back at the car as it drove by, and like it almost seemed like surreal, like something on a movie, like why are they both staring at me? But I ended up walking to the bus shelter, which was actually on an off-ramp from the highway on Montreal. And I was sitting down for, it felt like 30 seconds, and all of a sudden, the cops had turned around and they literally drove up onto like the platform where the bus was and cornered me inside the bus shelter. And honestly, like I was so shocked that like I didn't even do anything. Like I had zero reaction. And it kind of blew my mind because I'm thinking, like, I was already kind of scared and skittish at the time. I can only imagine somebody who wasn't as calm or had had a bad experience with cops, like what could have happened. Fortunately, like I just stayed still and like they didn't do anything. They just got out of the car and talked to me. But what happened was they were looking for someone who was similar to my description, they said. The unfortunate part of it was that the next day I was telling one of my friends about it at school, and it turns out that she was the one who had reported to the police, and she told me about the guy, and she showed me a picture, and I looked nothing like him. So in hindsight, it was just a little bit scary because like anything could happen. Like there's so many variables at play, and like it kind of blew my mind that I honestly looked nothing like this guy, but they still pulled up on me like that. And it, even just jumping the curb to corner me in a bus shelter, like to this day, thinking back, it kind of gives me like just a really odd feeling inside, kind of in my stomach. But apart from that, I think the only other thing I would mention is being biracial. It's interesting because my mother being Black and my father being white, I actually mostly just get a lot of bigots more coming forward when I'm with my dad. I think it's something about people seeing me, a colored person, with my father who's white. I know he gets a lot of comments and a lot of people in his face sometimes. I think it happens a lot less now. Hopefully that's people changing, but overall, like I don't think any of us are exempt from those types of experience, and I hope that nobody has to experience it if there's a way to avoid it. So for my moment of Black Canadian history, I'm going to be talking about Harry Winston Jerome. Born in 1940 in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Harry Jerome was recognized as the nation's premier sprinter in the 60s. At the young age of 18, he broke a 31-year-old Canadian record in the 220-yard dash. The following year, he made headlines again, becoming the first native Canadian to hold a world record in the 100-yard and 100-meter dash with a time of 9.2 and 10 seconds respectively. He went on to represent Canada at the Olympics in 1960, 1964, and 1968. After his retirement in 1969, he was invited by Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau to form the new Ministry of Sport. He went on to hold a number of senior positions. Not only was he a fantastic athlete, he was also serious about his studies, eventually earning a Bachelor of Science degree and a Master of Science degree in physical education at the University of Oregon. In a time where Black people were systematically discriminated against and dehumanized in Canadian sport, it's remarkable to see how time and time again, Black athletes like Jerome shut bigots down effortlessly. For more information, check out the links in the description below.
Good morning, McTavish. I'm your host, Yahie, and today it is a day one. Student Council is selling popcorn grams today and tomorrow. Junior highs can purchase their popcorn grams at the atrium cafeteria window, and senior high can purchase at the Learning Commons. They're $2 for one and $3 for $5. We are only accepting exact change. Please know the first and last name of the individual you want to surprise, as well as their grade and homeroom or high school Block 2 class. Grad Council is meeting Thursday at lunch to discuss grad quotes and much more. 1 weekend from today is the deadline for the talent show submissions. Our top performance last year included bang, singing, and a well-trained dog. Science fairs are around the corner. If you have a project that you would like to enter into the science fair, please join the Google Classroom code on the top of the screen and learn how to submit your project. This year, the science fair will be virtual with judgings taking place on March 11th. Project submissions deadline is March 7th. Next week is Valentine's theme week. Monday is Marauder Monday with a twist. Please see your poster to know what Valentine's Day inspired colors you should wear to earn your team points per person. Tuesday is Random Act of Kindness Day, Wednesday is Self-Care, and Thursday is Formal Day. The junior high gym will be open for the first half of lunch today. 8L will be in Gym A and 8M will be in Gym B. The varsity gym will be open to the second half of lunch for grade 11 and 12s. This Friday is 90s Grunge Day. Any grade 10 to 12 students who is interested in discussing women's issues in school or society to build awareness and safe spaces can join Miss K's room at 210 at lunchtime today. With basketball back on, it's another busy week. Tonight, our varsity team takes on Westwood, with the girls playing tomorrow in the first game of the season. For our JV boys at Holy Trinity, Thursday, our varsity hosts Holy Trinity, and we end the weekend off with the junior high tournament number 2. Be sure to check out our live stream of the games. Happy birthday to Louise, Andrews, Denise, Noah, and Janae. And here's a fun fact for today.
Did you know that Buzz Lightyear's name was originally going to be Lunar Larry?